This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Okay, good evening everyone. I would like to discuss another great Reuvain, another great Torah personality that passed away in Barcelona, Spain, was born in 1290 and passed away in Barcelona in 1375. So he had exceptional arichas yamim, especially for that age. He lived till 85 years. Rabbeinu Nissim ben Reuvain, the Ran. He was the Rav in Barcelona, and he was the foremost rabbinical authority of his time. He received she'elos from France, Italy, Africa, even Eretz Yisrael. However, how many tshuvos of the Ran were published? That's a little trivia question for you. I'm going to give you a hint. It was the channel that tour guide's drushas were on. 77 tshuvos. That's why everybody wanted to know, why on channel 77? You couldn't hear a word anyway. So this way you'll remember how many tshuvos of the Ran were published. Now the Ran wrote a very extensive commentary on the Rif. Tomorrow we're going to the kever of the Rif. The Ran also wrote on many Masechtas. The one that we have the full edition of on the side of the page is Maseches Nedarim. However, the Chidushe Haran on Masechta Shabbos is probably a Talmud of the Ran. The Chidushe Haritva on Masechta Shabbos is the Ran. Okay, so the Ritva on Shabbos is the Ran. The Ran on Shabbos is a Talmud of the Ran. Recently, the Ran on Pesachim, Moed Katan, and Baba Basra has surfaced. The Ran began writing a Perush on Chumash, and he passed away before it was completed. The Ran, following in the derech of the Sephardic giants, also wrote on Machshavas Yisrael, somewhat philosophy, known as the Drushas Haran. The Ran writes something very powerful in his drushas. He says, someone whose kavana is to be mistabek to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, even when he's involved in secular activities, he's serving Hashem avodah gemura. But someone who is not mistabek to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, even when he's learning Torah, is not serving HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Okay, now I want to share with you an amazing insight of the Ran. Everybody knows Miriam speaks Lashon Hara about Moshe Rabbeinu at the end of Behaloischa, and Hashem comes to them and he says, Se'u shaloshtechem, go out. Moshe, Aaron, Miriam. And then Hashem only speaks to Aaron and Miriam. He doesn't speak to Moshe. So why does he tell Moshe to stand near Aaron and Miriam? So the Ran says a wondrous yesod. The Ran says the greatness of the tzaddik, of the gadol, is that lahavdil elf alfei avdalos, a gadol b'Yisrael creates a Wi-Fi zone, so that anybody who's near the gadol also gets transmission of chachma, of kedusha. So Hashem didn't speak to Aaron and Miriam at will, but Hashem did speak to Moshe at will. Now Hashem has to suddenly come to Miriam and Aaron. They didn't have the spiritual Wi-Fi connection that Hashem is just going to come to them. So what does Hashem do? He says, Moshe, stand there. Moshe establishes the connection, and then when he's standing there, Hashem can now come and speak to Miriam and Aaron. But the Ran takes this further. Says the Ran, this is the idea of davening at Kivrei Tzadikim. Says the Ran, you don't daven to the tzaddik. The idea is that during the lifetime of the tzaddik, the body of the tzaddik was like a Wi-Fi zone of shefa, of chachma. So even after the demise of the tzaddik, the body of the tzaddik is still a zone of transmission of shefa, of chachma and kedusha, even la'achar misasam. So those who are mishtatech, those who go to be mispalel by the tzaddik, they're able to tap in to the tzaddik as a, if you were, a hotspot of kedusha and chachma even after misasam. Says around, that's the inyan of davening by Kivrei Tzadikim. Now, when we were at the Jewish Museum in Toledo, somebody pointed out that another one of the great chachamim that was in Spain was the Rivash. The Rivash was one of the great Talmidim of the Ran. The Rivash writes in Siman Shin Ayin Hey, we know what's a Talmid Chacham? Someone who you can ask him halacha b'chol makom, even in Masechta Kala, and he can answer, he is a Talmid Chacham. Says the Rivash, we no longer have Talmidei Chachamim. Lulei Hashem Tzavakois, Hoiser Lanu Sarid. One great Talmid Chacham is still with us. Who is that? Moreinu Harav Hagadol, Rabbeinu Nissim, Nun Reish. Anybody know what does Nun Reish stand for? Notrei Rachmana, may the Merciful One watch over him. Nun Reish, Notrei Rachmana. Says the Rivash, the one tzaddik we still have, Ladas, Tuv Tam Vadas, Baki B'Shloisha Svarim. The Domulei command, the Manchi Bekiste, his Torah is like in his back pocket. Sichloi Zach V'Yashar, Ein HaRoichela B'Chol Chachmei Yisrael. Who is that? Rabbeinu Nissim Ben Reuvain, the Ran Zechusai Yagen Aleinu.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.